Hi everybody, it's Sabrina. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new here. Today I plan on reviewing a book that I read recently. It is called California Promises by Erin Spinetto. And I will start with saying that this isn't a very popular novel. It's not one of the books you usually hear talked about on Book Talk or BookTube, but I decided to read it. I found it on another channel from another YouTuber. Her name is Diabetic Danica, and she talks about diabetes, specifically type 1 diabetes. And she read this book because it features a female lead character who happens to have type 1 diabetes. So I thought it'd be interesting. I do have type 1 diabetes myself, and I work as a diabetes educator. So I thought it'd be interesting to kind of see, that represented in a romance novel. So this book is a friends to lovers romance. And I didn't really go into it too high of expectations. Like I said, it was kind of a little, it's kind of a hidden gem. I didn't really know what to go into it expecting. I didn't really have high expectations, but I actually really enjoyed it. So I wanted to share it with you guys, and you guys can decide for yourself if it's something that you would be interested in reading as well. So really, the main plot of this book is it features our main character, Charlie. And like I said, Charlie does live with type 1 diabetes, but it's not the main focus of the book. It's kind of just more of a side afterthought, which I thought was great because obviously when we live with a medical condition like diabetes, it is a big part of our life, but it's not our whole life. There are a lot of things that go into it and a lot that we have to keep in mind when we live with a health condition like diabetes, specifically type 1 diabetes. But I liked it portrayed that, it wasn't like the main focus per se. So she does live with type 1 diabetes, and she lives in California. She's the surfer girl, and she's kind of portrayed to be this tomboy. She it isn't as girly as she would like, and she has a lot of friends who are very girly, and she thinks that guys don't like her because of this, and she has this kind of low self-esteem and low self-image because she doesn't think of herself as the typical girly girl, quote unquote, that most guys she thinks are interested in. That's the main character, and the potential love interest is her friend Grayson. So they've been friends, it sounds like in the book, for a very long time. And they've kind of gotten into this zone where I think they're afraid to ruin their friendship because they have been friends for so long. Charlie has made up these so-called rules that are meant to be in place to kind of help keep them as just friends. And throughout the course of the novel, you see that they do have feelings for each other, and they are developing stronger feelings for each other, but both of them are kind of afraid to be the one to, break these rules, I suppose you can say, and kind of are worried about it ruining their friendship. So that's really what the novel is about. I thought it was very cute. I really liked the romance. I found the characters very relatable. I found the storyline very believable. There was some drama with some of her friends, and I think the romance was a little dragged out in the sense that I think it could have been sped up a little bit. I think there were parts where just get together already. We know it's going to happen. Just do it. So I did feel that way at parts, but overall, I would say I really enjoyed the book. I really wanted to keep reading. I really wanted to know what was going to happen next in the story. And I actually rated this book a 4 stars. So not bad for a novel that is not talked about at all online and is not talked at all about really in the BookTube community. I really enjoyed this, and I don't think that this novel is, like I said, not big focus, but a big part of the reason that I read this book personally was because it was nice to see a character who had a health condition that I had represented in the media. Have to have type 1 diabetes to enjoy this book, or know somebody with type 1 diabetes to enjoy this book, but I feel like if you do, or somebody who lives closely, is close to you with type 1 diabetes, I think it makes it that much better. So, I don't think it's a requirement to read this book. I still thought it was a very cute romance overall. Really liked it, really enjoyed it. And then just that for me was kind of just an extra added bonus on top. I like the way it was presented. The author herself lives with type 1 diabetes. And there's just kind of side pieces here and there where it gets mentioned. She has a moment on the beach where she almost steps on a piece of glass and she's worried about getting a lecture from her endocrinologist about not wearing shoes on the beach, which is very true. You know, you have to avoid foot injuries when you have diabetes. There is a multiple scenes throughout the book where she's having like a low blood sugar, and, you know, she's worried about, you know, treating it and things like that. She has a moment where she meets another person with diabetes, and they both have a Dexcom, which is a piece of technology that we wear when we have diabetes to monitor our blood sugar, and they have a little moment bonding over that. So there's lots of things in this book that is very relatable, especially if you have diabetes and you understand diabetes. And I also like, too, that it kind of breaks a little bit of the stereotypes of, you know, some of the things that Charlie eats in the book. You know, she does have sugar at points, and a lot of people, when they think of diabetes, they think, oh, you can't eat any sugar, you know, which isn't necessarily true. You know, it's obviously not healthy for people with diabetes to eat large amounts of sugar, but we can have it occasionally, you know, as a treat, just like anybody else can. And really, nobody should be eating large amounts of sugar, whether they have diabetes or not. But there's actually moments when we have type 1 diabetes where, you know, we need sugar. Our blood sugar is low and we need that sugar to raise our blood sugar. So overall, the representation in the book I thought was very well done. Main love interest, Grayson, he is a firefighter, which I thought was kind of interesting. Charlie works at a tech company. And they have moments throughout the book where they kind of interact with other love interests, and you can kind of see the tension that they're jealous and they don't want to say that they're jealous of the other person, you know, of their new love interest. Even though at the end of the day, you can tell they really just both want to be with each other. And kind of seeing that progression and the growth of the characters, you know, is very nice. So I believe this is a series of books. She has a couple other ones in the series. I don't remember what their names of them are called, but they're all about strong, independent women. So it's called her Warrior Woman series, and it portrays a strong female character and then a strong male lead who is strong enough to be with this strong female character. So a lot of the times throughout the book, Grayson, he lives with anxiety, and he's nervous that, you know, he's not good enough for Charlie. He views Charlie as being way smarter than him, and that, well, how can she love me when I have this PTSD and this anxiety? I'm just going to hold her back. And it kind of it fights his struggles with that as well. And, you know, of course, obviously Charlie doesn't care about that. You know, she wants to be with him regardless. So, like I said, I think it made the characters very deep. They both had their, you know, struggles, their strengths, and I really liked that represented. They really felt like they could be, you know, real people in the book. So one thing I thought was cute was Charlie, throughout the book, it's mentioned PTSD, since, you know, Grayson is a firefighter. He does struggle with an event that gave him PTSD, and he decides that she's going to call it just PTS. Because the D, for those of you who don't know, PTSD stands for post-traumatic stress disorder. And so she doesn't like the disorder aspect because she feels like it makes him feel like there's something wrong with him, or that there was some wrongdoing on his part. So instead she just calls it PTS, post-traumatic stress. So that way, you know, he doesn't feel like, you know, that there's something not right with him or that it's his fault. So I thought that was very cute. You know, I think the characters are very supportive of each other. There's lots of points where, you know, Grayson is very worried about Charlie and her diabetes, always carrying supplies to help treat her low blood sugars and things like that. So overall, I think that they worked very good together and very supportive of each other and each other's health conditions. And that was very nice, I think, to see represented in the novel. So again, overall, 4 out of 4 stars. I really enjoyed this book. I don't think that the other novels focus specifically on characters with type 1 diabetes, but I did enjoy this book by this author. So I do think that I might, in the future, read some of her other novels. I don't have any immediate plans to do so because I have a lot of other books that I want to get to. But it is definitely on my list in the future. I did like this author enough, and I liked her writing style, and I like the storyline enough that I think I will give some of her other books in the future a shot. So other than that, that's one book I read recently, and then I also have been reading The Song of Achilles, And you guys know, if you watch my channel, that I am learning Ukrainian, and I have been reading the first Harry Potter book in Ukrainian, and I am still doing that. I'm slowly chugging along. I have been making progress, not fast progress, but I have been making progress. I am about halfway through the first Harry Potter book, Harry Potter i Filosofski Kamen, which is Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. So I'm about halfway through that, and I will, update you guys. We'll make a video about the Song of Achilles, hopefully when I finish that novel soon, and also I will make a video about my experience reading my first novel in a foreign language once I do finish the Harry Potter book in Ukrainian. So if you guys are interested in those upcoming videos or some of my other videos I'll be making in the future, you guys can like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and we'll see you again in another video.